How you doing? My name is Luka and welcome to the show. You see, I've been thinking lately and I think I have a problem. Recently I realized that I own way too many lights. And when I say too many lights, I really mean too many lights. And as if I didn't have enough lights already, marketing team of Zhiyun was like, hey, you know what this guy needs? Another light. And guess what I got from Zhiyun in the mail today? Their brand new gimbal! No, I'm just kidding, I got another light. I got a CF100. But before we get into the specs about this light and all the details, as Gerald and Dunn would say, this video is not sponsored by Zhiyun. They did provide me the light and then they asked me to make an honest review, which is exactly what I want to do. But no money exchanged hands and I get to keep the light at the end of this video, adding it up to my never-ending collection. Zhiyun did though ask me to test this light thoroughly and compare it to the competition, which is exactly what I did in the last couple of weeks by taking this light to different shoots that I had to see what it actually can do. Now, the question is it worth buying? Is it different from anything on the market? Short answer, yes. That's all you wanted to hear. You can get out of this video. There's a link for discount code in my description. Click there, get yourself a light, get some discount for yourself, enjoy the light. But if you want to see why it's so good and is it worth that kind of money, stay with me and I'll show you. Right out of the box, the CF100 feels very solid. Weighing in just more than 2 pounds, it's not the lightest, but it sure packs a punch because this is definitely a first publicly available LED stick with 100 watts of power and it's also battery powered. With a price of $179 or 189 euros, it definitely fits great in the market and stands itself apart. It comes with a barn door, sub box and USB cable to charge it. Charging it via USB cable that is provided, it would take approximately 10 hours to fully charge it. And since no one alive has 10 hours to wait for their light to be fully charged, I went on Amazon and bought this cheap charger for $15, which basically charges in almost like a little bit less than 2 hours, something like that. Zhiyun did advertise that there will be 120 watt charger available publicly for purchase, but until this day I didn't get any confirmation when it will be available and how much is it going to cost actually. A little bit about our interface. It's very simple. With a scroll on the back that also serves as a button on the sides, it will take you to each of the settings by clicking on it. We have HSI, Max, Dim and FX button. Each of these options will give you light parameters on the screen which you can navigate through via scroll. HSI or in translation hue, saturation, intensity allows you to precisely choose the shade of the color of the light that you need for your shoot from the full spectrum of the colors from 0 to 360. By clicking on the Max button, light goes automatically into its most powerful setting of 100% intensity and a color temperature of 4300 kelvins in which it makes 2610 lux. FX button is leading you into FX menu which gives you 6 different scene modes: fire, TV, SOS, faulty bulb, flash, candle and a bunch of random color schemes. To be very honest, besides SOS, flash and faulty bulb, I'm not really impressed with these effects. I feel like they can be way better because they look very generic, very unreal. There's just not much fluctuations between the frequencies and the light changes. It just feels very, very generic. For example, when we turn on the TV mode, you can see that the tempo between the light changes is the same, which doesn't seem real because we know that no TV channel is going to change the light constantly in the same frequency. It just doesn't work like that. Regarding the color modes, I don't see much use for it, to be honest. I feel like they can be so much better done because right now the colors are really random and the changes are random and I don't really see the purpose for it. So Zhiyun, take my advice and do the update. Just change something, make it like more usable, let's say. By pressing dim button, we are getting an option of changing the white balance and intensity of the light, which you can fine tune according to your needs. White balance goes from 2700 to 6500 and power goes from 0 to 100%. Color rendering index or CRI is more than 96, which means that you'll have no problem with skin color and textures. Now, one thing that this light has that many lights doesn't, which is a good and bad thing at the same times, are fans. There is 6 fans on this light, which they're gonna cool this light pretty quickly when this light gets a little bit warm from working. If you know anything about shooting interviews, you know that when you're shooting interviews, the room's supposed to be like very, very quiet with no noise whatsoever. Problem with this light is that at some point it does kind of get hot and the fans do turn on. They're not really crazy loud, but they're loud enough to interrupt your really quiet set. Fortunately, the noise doesn't last for too long and it's not that destructive, so you can wait for like 15, 20, maybe 30 seconds for it to go off and it's not gonna go on for a while. Alright, let's talk about the battery a little bit. So there's a 2600 milliampere hours batteries in this light. On the full power and the max mode, Zhiyun claims they can hold up for 31 minutes. I tested it out because I don't believe anyone and I got 37 minutes, which is even better than what they claimed. Also, they said on a 50% power, you should get about 2.5 hours of battery. I got 2 hours and 45 minutes. So that actually sounds pretty good, like way better than actually they wrote on the paper, which is very surprising. Although I did have a little issue with this light, it happened twice. It's a very minor issue, but it still needs to be addressed. What happened is that I tried to turn the light on instead of showing me the screen that says rotate the scroll to turn on the light and the scene appear. It was showing me just says upgrading. I don't know what is he upgrading to, because it makes no sense. There is no Wi-Fi, there is no connection, there is nothing. What I did, I just left it for a couple of seconds, I turned it back on, it worked perfectly fine. It's a minor issue, as I said, and I hope that Zhiyun is going to issue a firmware update for this so it doesn't happen again. Right, Zhiyun? Right? Now, to compare some stick lights, here we have two of my favorite stick lights. The Godox LC500 and the cheapest LED stick on Amazon made by Hajibis. I have no clue how this is pronounced. I've owned both of these for years now and they never let me down. The Godox XC500 is a bit heavier at 1.79 pounds, plus a bit more for the barn doors when attached. It's completely made from hard, durable plastic and has been a reliable tool for me for many weddings. And with a price tag of $239, it's definitely not cheap. On the other hand, Hajibis, how do you pronounce the name H-A-G-I-B-I-S?
The name Hagibis is pronounced Ha-Gay-Bis, with the emphasis on the second syllable and a hard G sound like in go.
Hagibis it is. Hagibis comes in at 0.79 pounds, which is more than half the weight of LC500. It's made from cheaper plastic and a piece of what I can only guess is aluminum. Priced at $47 on Amazon, it's a perfect low-budget light that you can carry around with you with any problems. No remote, no screens, no interface, just a few buttons. That's it. And if you're curious to see Hajibis, whatever, in the action, you can just check out my vlog number 48. The link is going to be like here somewhere. Let's talk about a CF100's build quality. Zhiyun advertises that the body itself weighs 2.1 pounds, and with the barn doors attached, you can see the bumps up to 2.5 pounds. That's still lighter than LC500, which weighs around 3 pounds with barn doors, and also CF100 gives you more power and more options. The body is made of hard, durable plastic, and as I mentioned earlier, it feels very, very solid in hand. I also love that there is no squeaking noise when you handle it. Enough of boring numbers, specs, and all this with the light. We need to get into the actions. We're gonna bring this light where it's supposed to be. First location that we're gonna go and visit is called SipNGuzzle. It's a downtown Manhattan bar, which my friend Andrea is working in. She's a bartender and she's also shooting their content for their social media. Today she's gonna be using this light to make content for the bar, so we're gonna see how she's gonna use it. Alright, so we're here in SipNGuzzle in West Village in Manhattan.
SipNGuzzle. Not Gazzle.
I'm getting lessons already and I just got here. Holy sh! So what we're doing today, Andrea is gonna use the same light. She's gonna shoot some cocktails here in the bar. This is totally up to her. I'm not gonna have any influence on this whatsoever.
I'm so excited.
Alright, she's gonna use this little tiny tripod here. This is our assistant, Istok, over there.
Tripod is great. It's functional, it's portable, and it's not
And
sponsored.
it works. It's not sponsored. Yeah, fuck it. We're not gonna mention which brand it is. They didn't pay us to do this.
I'm yet to figure out which cocktails we're going to shoot, but we're most likely going to be making a stop-motion video, which essentially is a compilation of different photos put together into a video at the end.
Did you just mansplain to us what is most? I'm just kidding. So we turned all the yellow lights off because really we don't need them. We're just gonna use this light, and I used this little gimbal this little tripod comes from the gimbal RS3 Mini, I think, or something like that. It's just a basic little thing, but it's enough to hold this light.
So far we get a lot of power. The only thing that I really wish is that these barn doors were black so that I can direct the light a little bit better without it spilling out, but we can make this work.
So this is the angle that we decided on. She left this light on the kind of edge of the bar, and this is the chilled glass that she's going to be using, and I guess we're going to be pouring from this side, I guess, right?
Probably. Yeah. And it won't be a pour, it would actually be a drop. We're going to drop the garnish, which is going to be a lychee. This is our iconic super lychee martini, so it's bright pink. Figure the color would be really nice, and then we're going to drop the lychee inside and create a big splash. So hopefully we're going to get it in one take.
And we're gonna get some other hand model because my hands are ugly and hairy. There's the model right there, look at that. Yay. We were just talking about you.
This is Victoria.
Victoria is gonna be our hand model here for dropping garnish into the glass. As you can see, she's thrilled. She cannot wait for this to happen.
She is thrilled. There you go.
Tell me how hard it is to learn the buttons on the back and get used to them.
It's not that difficult. It's more or less intuitive, to be honest. I just am discovering that it has so many different functions I didn't know about. So it's kind of cool. No pressure. We're trying to capture a stop motion of the lychee dropping into the glass, creating a splash. So Victoria's gonna do that. I have my shutter set at 1/250. Again, the faster it is, the more photos you get to capture in the moment. And I'm using a little remote just so that I don't like disturb the camera.
So the reason why she's going to be sitting on this side is because the light is going to be coming from the opposite. The shadow is going to be on the bottom side and you can see all the splash and everything. So that's why the light is a little bit behind, and that's why all of this is kind of nice and shiny.
Nice and shiny, that's the right way to describe that. Can you use your other hand actually? Is that less stable? We'll make it work. Go.
It made no splash, at all.
And go.
Take 3.
Bruh.
Go.
5 minutes later.
And go. And go.
Hey. You know what they say, 7th take is always the best one.
Okay, so I'm basically setting up the glass as a placeholder. I'm setting up for a little bit of a close-up, a stamped ice cube over which we're gonna pour over some club soda, and it's essentially gonna represent one of our highballs on the menu, and it's gonna be just like a very sexy close-up of like all the bubbles hitting the ice and kind of creating hopefully a little bit of like a steam sensation because of the temperature difference.
So you get photography and science in the same shoot. Like, come on, like this is like the best channel ever, man. If you guys are not subscribed by now, like I don't know what you're waiting for. I didn't do any manicure, so I don't know. Actually, we're gonna do it higher so they don't see my hands, that nobody needs to see that.
Start low and then go high. Awesome, okay, go.
And 700 photos later, I think we have a shot. Mom, I never thought I'm gonna be a hand model, but good things happen to good people, I guess.
I think that's a wrap, guys.
First shoot for this light, done. We're off to the second one. We're gonna use this magic of editing. When I clap, we're gonna be in another room. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And that's the power of editing. We are here now shooting a music video for one of our friends. My friend Tatjana is a DP. I'm just kind of helping out with everything that I can. We are currently on the rooftop of Home Depot because we want to get one of these. Let me show you actually. These views right there. That's a whole city in the background. We're gonna get some shots with him right here on the rooftop. This is what's happening. We're gonna use this light as our main backlight, which is making this massive shadow on the floor. And then we have small rig 220D with a grid on it, basically hitting him from the front. And then we have Zhiyun strip light hitting him in the back. And we're gonna be shooting for 7200 all the way from there. This is how our shot is gonna look like. We're gonna do a little bit closer as well, but this is pretty much it. We wanna see as much of the city. This is zoomed in. That looks sexy. We need to talk a little bit of a white balance so we can have a proper colors here. That light is daylight. This light is daylight as well, so I set up that light to be daylight as well, so all 3 lights are pretty much the same color. Alright, we are done with the shoot here on the rooftop. We're gonna go to the Myrtle Avenue in Brooklyn to get some more shots. For this shot, I clamped the light to a subway post to illuminate the performer. In this way, the light perfectly lights him up but stays out of the frame and completely invisible to the camera. We are shooting this scene with the 7200 lens fully zoomed in to get a nice compression and isolate the subject from the background. Next shot was a B-roll of the performer walking down the sidewalk, in which I walk with him while holding the light in front to keep him lit the whole time. We also shot this on 7200. And New York wouldn't be New York without some sideshow under the subway track, so enjoy the performance.
Give me some more. Huh? What you want?
For our last shot, we decided to rotate with our performer. While he rotates with us, he's gonna keep the eye contact on the camera the whole time. To keep the constant light on him, we strapped the light to my backpack and then clamped it to make it a little bit more secure. And here's the result.
Ajmo Vukša, to! Ajmo Vukša, ekspresija sad, to! Da ti vidim žile na licu, to!
And time for the final verdict and thought after everything we saw. Would I buy this light for myself if I didn't receive it? Probably yes. Why? Because I think it's very functional, it's very good. good quality, and it seems like it's going to be very durable. And also with my discount code, you're coming to close to $160 for this light, and I don't think there is a better buy for that kind of money, for this kind of power anywhere on the market. My rating, I'm giving Zhiyun CF100 9 out of 10. Why it's not 10? Because there's a little minor things. They can be very improved and fixed in the next versions, or updates with the firmware, like the barn doors, or like the effects that are kind of barely usable. So if you're in a market to look for a light, for a first light or additional light to your setup so you can use for the interviews on an everyday basis, look no further. CF100 is absolutely your choice. Well done, Zhiyun.